Hello, boys, and welcome to Wednesday, June 9th. And just as promised, we are going to talk about crabs. In fact, we are going to make a crab today. We're going to read a book about a house for a hermit crab, which is a different kind of crab. And we're going to do a listening page. It says listen and color, and it has seahorses on it. All right, so the first thing I want you to do is take your craft out, and you're going to have, there's a little weight plate here, and you are going to take your paintbrush and maybe put this on a piece of paper or a paper towel, and you are going to paint it red. Now, you see how I have glitter here? I gave you glitter paint, so your paint is red with glitter already mixed in it. So you're going to paint this entire plate so it's covered in red, and it's going to be red glitter paint, so it's going to be shiny. It's going to be super cool. And we're just going to put that aside because you're going to need that to dry for us to do the rest of the craft. So I want to jump in to a book by Eric Carle, and it is A House for a Hermit Crab. I want to see something funny, boys. If you look here, it says Matthew Wilson. This is Matthew's book, and he loved this book. I've read it so many times to him. Really cool pictures in this book. Even though we're talking about a hermit crab, there's all different kinds of fish and different things. So here we go. Time to move, said the hermit crab on one day in January. I've grown too big for this shell. He had felt safe and snug in this shell, but now it was just too snug. So Hermit Crab stepped out of his shell and onto the floor of the ocean. Wow, that's a big step. But it was frightening out in the open without his shell to hide. What if the big fish came along and attacks me, he said. I must find a new home soon. So there he is crawling out of his shell, and he's worrying a little about the other fish in the sea. All right, so then early February, Hermit Crab found just the house he was looking for. It was a big shell, and the shell was strong, and he moved right in, and he wiggled and waggled about inside to see how it felt, and it felt just right. But it looked it just looked plain. So it fit him, but it looked plain. In March, Hermit Crab met a sea anemones. They swayed gently back and forth in the water, and they were beautiful, said Hermit Crab. Would you be willing to come and live on my house? It's just so plain. I think it needs to be decorated a little. Anemones. That's a tongue twister. In April, Hermit Crab passed by a flock of starfish moving slowly along the sea floor. How handsome you are, said the Hermit Crab. Would you be willing to decorate my house? So now he has his plant on here, and now he's saying, oh, look how pretty these are. Would you come and decorate my house? And carefully, Hermit Crab picked it up by his claw, and he put it on his house. So this is what he looks like now. His house is getting decorated because it was so plain before. In May, Hermit Crab discovered some coral. Ooh, and it was hard and it didn't move, but how pretty you are, said Hermit Crab. Would one of you be willing to help make my house more beautiful? I would, said the crusty coral. So gingerly, Hermit Crab picked up with his claw a piece and put it on his shell. So let's see what this looks like now. Oh, he sure has a lot of things on his shell. Okay, so then June came, and Hermit Crab came across a group of snails crawling over the rocks on the ocean floor. They gazed as they went, picking up algae and bits of debris and leaving a neat path behind them. "How tidy and hard-working you are," said Hermit Crab. "Would you be willing to come and help clean my house?" "I would," said one of the snails. Happily, Hermit Crab picked up with his claw the snail and placed it on his shell. My goodness, look at what's going on with his shell now. He's got an awful lot going on. In July, Hermit Crab picked up several sea urchins. They had sharp, prickly needles. "How fierce you look," he said. "Would one of you be willing to protect my house?" "Well, I would," said one of the spiky sea urchins. Gratefully, Hermit Crab picked it up with his claw and placed it near his shell. Let's see what we have going on now. Oh my goodness. There it is right there, the sea urchin. In August, Hermit Crab and his friends wandered into a forest of seaweed. "It's so dark here," thought Hermit Crab. "How dim it is. How gloomy it is. How murky it is. I can't see. It's like nighttime." In September, Hermit Crab spotted a school of lanternfish darting through the dark water. "How bright you are," said Hermit Crab. "Would you be willing to light up my house?" "I would," replied one of the lanternfish, and it swam over near the shell. So finally, it's not so dark. It's got a little bit of light now. In October, Hermit Crab approached a pile of smooth pebbles and said, "How sturdy you are," said Hermit Crab. "Would you mind if I rearranged you?" "Well, not at all," said the pebbles. And Hermit Crab picked them up one by one with his claw and built a wall around his shell. "Now my house is perfect," said the Hermit Crab. But in November, Hermit Crab felt that his shell seemed a bit small. Little by little, over the year, Hermit Crab had grown. Soon he would have to find another bigger home. But he had come to love his friends. "They have been so good to me," said Hermit Crab. "They're like family. How can I ever leave them?" In December, a smaller hermit crab passed by. "I've outgrown my shell," she said. "Would you know a good place for me?" "I've outgrown my home too," answered Hermit Crab. "I must move on. You're welcome to live here, but you must promise to be good to my friends." And the little crab said, "I promise." The following January, Hermit Crab stepped out of his little crab shell, and he moved on. "Couldn't stay in that little shell forever," said Hermit Crab, and he waved goodbye. The ocean floor looked wider than he remembered, but Hermit Crab wasn't afraid. Soon he spied the perfect house, a big empty shell. It looked, well, a little plain, but sponges, he thought. Barnacles, clownfish, sand dollars, electric eels. Oh, there's so many possibilities. I can't wait to get started. The end. So that was a very fun book about hermit crabs. We're going to make a different kind of crab today, but we're going to continue to let that dry, and we're going to go on to listen and color. So you're going to need your crayons for this, and we're going to put our name on the top. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 seahorses. I count 7. Do you count 7, boys? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Awesome. Okay, so the first sentence says, pick up your yellow crayon and color one seahorse yellow. Pick up your yellow crayon and color one seahorse yellow. And you can pick any one you want. Now, if I'm going too fast and you don't want to pause the video, what you can do is you can just take your crayon or your marker and color a little bit so you know that one of your seahorses has to be yellow, and then you can move on. So if you didn't have time, you could just color a little bit of this yellow so you know. Excuse me. All right, so the next one, pick up your blue crayon and color 3 seahorses blue. Pick up your blue crayon and color 3 seahorses blue. So if you wanted to, if you want to go back, you could just go like this. And you know that these 3 seahorses are going to be blue. So it just depends how much time you need to color. And you know, like I always say, boys, when I do this, when I'm teaching you, I go fast because I don't want to take up too much time on each thing. So my work is not nearly as good as yours. And you know, I'm so proud of how you color and how you cut and how you paint, because you take your time and you just do such beautiful work. So very quickly, there's my 3 seahorses that are blue. The next sentence says, excuse me, boys, I'm so sorry with my allergies. It says, pick up a purple crayon and color 2 of the seahorses purple. Color 2 of those seahorses purple. Aren't seahorses the coolest thing? If you've ever been to the aquarium, you can see them swim around. Maybe if you have time, you can Google seahorses. Let's say today's Wednesday, so you're with your grandparents today. Maybe they can Google seahorses for you. 2 of your seahorses are going to be purple. And lastly, it's asking us to pick your green crayon and color 1 seahorse green. Now again, you can just start by coloring them a little, and then you can go back. The last sentence says, make the shells any color you want. So we have 3 shells down here, and it's saying make them any color you want. So I'm going to make one of them orange, but now remember, this is your creation, and it's telling you that you can make the shells any color you want. So that's up to you. I'm going to make one of mine gray, one of mine orange, and I think I'm going to make one of mine pink. So we have a very colorful ocean scene going on here. And remember, I did mine quickly, so. And before you finish, even if you just started a couple and you're going to go back, remember to put your name on the top. All right, so there's our worksheet. And we're going to put our worksheet and our book aside. By now, hopefully your crab is dry. And we're going to pretend like this is colored. Or this is painted, rather. And we're going to glue our crab legs, our crab body and our legs underneath. So here's the front of it. This is going to be painted, and you're going to glue this on the opposite side of the paint. So when you're done, it's going to look like this. And so this is going to be glued on. We're going to put our googly eyes on, and then we're going to take 8 pieces, 4 on each side, and put our other crab claws or feet. And probably the easiest way to do this is to tape it. So just put them where you want them. And I used another plate on the back. I don't think I gave you 2 plates, but you could just have the boys put it where they want it like this, and then just put a piece of tape across here so it will stay. And that is going to be our crab. So cool, and it's going to be shiny because we use that glittery red paint. All right, boys, so that is our lesson today about crabs. And I wonder if you've been to the beach and you've seen any crabs. They this is how their claws go, and they walk side to side. They walk side to side. So if you go on your back, you're kind of, you put your arms behind you and you bend your legs, you can walk like a crab. Walk like a red crab with very grippy. They have like such a grip. If they get you, they can hold on to your skin with those very strong claws. Okay, so that is our end of the lesson for crabs. That's the end of a lesson for Wednesday. And I'll see you back here tomorrow on Thursday when we talk about rainbow fish, one of my favorite. Keep up the good work. Take your time. If you need to rewind the video, that's fine. Or pause the video. Take your time, do your best work, and have fun. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.